Hello, students. Your topic for today is trade unionism in India. So basically, trade unionism has its headway by the growth of industrialization and capitalism. So trade union movement is now 50 years old, and it has passed through various stages. A period of frustration and a lot of bitter struggle have alternated with occasion of recognition, consolidation, and achievements. The objective for the formation of trade union is that takes place in the recognition of law is this, that it wants to spread industrial peace with aim to provide a social economic justice to people at large. But this function can only be performed if the members of the trade unions are provided with a proper civil liberty and democratic rights by the society they live in. So, the trade unions are a major component of the system of modern industrial relations in any nation, each having their own set of objectives or goals to achieve according to their constitution, and each have their own strategy to reach their goals. Union of workers play a very important role in an industrial system. Annually, statistics on trade unions are collected by Ministry of Labor, Government of India, is Labor Bureau, and right form trade union in a fundamental right under Article 19(1)(c) of the Indian Constitution. So there is a right to form trade union in this article. After the First World War, there was a need for the coordination among individual unions, which leads towards the trade union movement in India. Gradually, this movement it became an essential part of industrial progress in India. Apart from economic, social, and political dimensions of trade union in India, the web defines a trade union as a continuous association of wage earners for the purpose of maintaining or improving the conditions of their working lives. Historically, union representation and collective bargaining have been the keys to the growth of a stable working population in developed economies, and have made it possible for workers to gain a more equitable share of the wealth that they create. They are also able to improve working conditions and help workers gain some job security. So, objective and need of trade union. First, the objective is wages and salaries. So, this is the most important one in trade unions, and in a organized industry, wages and benefits are determined through process such as collective bargaining, wage boards, conciliation, and adjudication. Working of all these processes deserves a systematic inquiry. Union power and objective facts hopefully influence the wage scene through these forums. Working conditions. So, another major objective of trade union is to ensure the safety of workers. While working, every worker must be provided with the basic facilities like drinking water, minimum working hours, paid holidays, social security, safety equipment, lights, and others. The next is personal policies. So, any personal policy of the employer with respect to promotion, transfer, and training may be challenged by trade unions if arbitrary. The next objective is discipline. So, trade union also protect the workers from arbitrary discipline action taken by the management against any worker. No worker should be victimized by the management in the form of arbitrary transfer or suspension. Welfare. So, the main objective of trade union is to work for the welfare of the workers. This includes welfare of the family members or children of the worker. Sixth is employee and employer relations. So, for an industrial peace, there must be harmony between employer and employee. But due to superior power of management, sometimes conflict arises in this situation. Trade unions represent the whole group of workers and continue to negotiations with management. Negotiating machinery. Trade unions may also put proposals before management. As this policy is based on principle of give and take, a trade union protects the interest of workers through collective bargaining. Safeguarding organizational health and the interest of industry. So, trade unions also help in achieving employee satisfaction. Trade unions also help in better industrial relations by creating procedure to resolve the industrial dispute. Alone workers feel weak. Trade union provides him a platform to join others to achieve social objectives. Functions of trade unions in India. Collective bargaining. So, Honorable Supreme Court of India has divided collective bargaining as the technique by which dispute as to conditions of employment is resolved amicably by agreement rather than coercion. So, in this process, negotiations and discussions take place between the employer and the employee in respect to working conditions. Refusing to bargain collectively is an illegal trade practice. Collective bargaining helps to resolve the issues of workers. Collective bargaining is the foundation of the movement and it is the interest of the labor that statutory recognition has been accorded to trade union and their capacity to represent workmen. Trade unions protect the worker from hike, wages hike, provides job security through peaceful measures. Trade unions also help in providing financial and non financial aid to the workers during lockout or strike or in medical need. It has also to be borne in mind while making an agreement that the interest of the workers who are not the members of trade union are also protected and the workers who are not members of the trade union are also protected and the workers are not discriminated. Then the social responsibilities of trade union. So social responsibility is an obligation recognized over an individual, group of individual, institution so that they can be accountable and answerable to people for their civic duties. Here accountability refers to the objective of the act or decision which would be welfare of the society or for attaining the balance between growth and welfare. If the outcome of the result of an action or decisions is causing harm to public, then an individual or group of individual cannot be said to be socially responsible. The goal of the labor legislation somehow rests with the emerge of the industrial peace, where protection of innocent employee is an essential condition, and this is the reason which motivated the formation of trade unions and its recognition by the law. The function of collective bargaining acts as process of negotiation between employer and employee so that either concessions or difference in the opinion can be pointed out to settle the major dispute. But the need of social responsibility generates from the act that trade union exists in representative capacity as it represents the labor. Therefore, accountability and responsibility of trade union generates towards the laborers. There should be warranted social responsibility from the trade union because there is direct impact of decision of trade union of laborers. This rule of organization is developed by the virtue of societal norms, ethical values and concept of social contract. Responsibilities can be summarized with regards to function of trade union and employer relationship. First, education and awareness among laborers. Second, Their acts and deliberation with employers should be in the manner so that consent becomes the part of economic growth and development. For that purpose, cooperation is required. Third, rural and urban population comprises of unorganized labor which should be made organized by the trade union. Significance of trade unions established. So trade union fills the void which was obstructing the attainment of industrial peace and social justice. Any decision arrived by virtue of deliberation with employer through trade union should be followed strictly by the laborers which forms the part of that trade union, as it improves the working condition, wages they get, and other matters related to employment, as the trade union helps the labor in their bad days, like the personal accident or at the time of retrenchment of or lockouts. There are many welfare measures are taken for supporting the workmen, example of which is legal assistance, housing schemes, and education to children of workers. So these functions of trade union makes its existence significant for social justice. Trade unions perform substantial roles in increasing the wages of the workers. This rule may not be observed by direct method, but indirectly wages can be increased by the actions of trade unions, like assurance can be there from the trade union regarding the payment of marginal productivity level, which can be done by increasing bargaining capacity and power. Trade union can stop supply of laborers in specific trade, which may have consequence of increased wage. Growth and origin of trade union in India. The first Factories Act was passed in the year 1881 by virtue of recommendation of Bombay Factory Recommendation in the year 1985. The workers of the Bombay textile industry demanded that the working hour should be reduced, weekly holidays, and compensation in case of injuries suffered by the workmen. Bombay Mills Hand Association is the first union established by the workers by N. Lokhande in the year 1890. Several labor movements started after the outbreak of the World War I. The miserable and social and economic conditions of the people at that time triggered the labor movement. Formation of ILO, which is International Labor Organization, leads to formation of trade unions. Ahmedabad Labour Textile Association was formed under the guidance of Mahatma Gandhi principle of non-violence. AITUC, All India Trade Union Congress. All India Trade Union Congress is formed in the year 1920 for the purpose of selecting the delegates for ILO. First meeting of AITUC was held in Bombay under the presidency of Lala Lajpat Rai in the year 1920. AIRF was formed in 1922. All the union consisting and comprising of railway workmen were made part of it and affiliated to it. AITUC witnessed the split because some members were in support of the war and others were not in support of the war. Later group is separated as an organization under the leadership of Congress leaders, resulted in the formation of Indian National Trade Union Congress, INTUC. Socialists also got themselves separated from the AITUC, which resulted in the formation of Hind Majdoor Sabha in the year 1948. Therefore, the splits and detachment can be observed, resulting in creation of separate trade unions. There were three kind of unions on the basis of structure. It consists of industrial union, craft union, general union. Now, the problems that were faced by the trade unions in India. The condition of trade union is India was not very sound, and this mainly was because of the fact that trade unions suffer from many problems. So, one of them was like uneven growth, low membership was there, multiplicity of unions were there, inter-union rivalry was there, weak financial position, lack of public support. the essential conditions for success of a trade union. The fact that trade unions play a very important role in the process of economic development deserves no special emphasis, but only desire of playing that role is not sufficient. It is pertinent to remain mention that they must fulfill certain other conditions which may be laid down as under. The first essential of a trade union is the existence of a progressive labor force in order to man the movement. An educated and capable labor force keeps the leaders devoted and makes their will strong for leading their fellow workers. Lack of proper and adequate level of education, general as well as technical or vocational, proper commitment to the job, diverse composition of the labor force divided by difference of language, custom, caste, and creed, and widespread poverty owing to low level of wages render the working class incapable of manning the trade union movement effectively and purposely. Another essential factor is a successful and a sound trade union is a sound leadership and methodological organization. In order to gain success in its objects, a trade union should have its foundation laid on the said grounds. A clear enunciation of the objects is a third fundamental feature for survival and sound functioning of trade union. The trade union with complexity in objects are looked down and upon with the suspicion. Another point which must be adhered to is that the trade union must make sure to have a coherent and well conceived policy regarding their structure. Next is that the sound internal organization is also a matter of importance. This in turn requires that besides the sound business administration, the financial resources of the union should also be adequate. Thus, the factors that make a trade union strong and healthy are unflinching adherence to the union constitution and rules, regular payment of dues, fully representative character, and cooperation with other unions. That's all. Thank you.